What's up, guys? CyberDonut here. Wanted to jump on, share some good news, and talk to you a little bit about it. I passed my 701 exam finally. It was about last week. I scored a 769, which is, I think equates to like an 86 about. So excited about that. It's great news. I started studying cybersecurity, I'd say more in the beginning of the year, but April is when I really started to, put my foot down and get serious about it. And started taking more practice exams, courses, reading through the book, highlighting it. I'll get more into what material I use in a little bit. But the first time around the 601 exam, I failed early July with a 716. I had about 3 weeks left before it retires. So I was on the fence. Do I want to do 601? Do I want to do 701? In case I fail 601 again, that means I would have to read all brand new material. So the difference was that 701 took out a lot of the 601 stuff, the commands and all that, which ironically I was very comfortable with. And I didn't see that on the 601 exam, of course, but I decided probably a few days after that I would do the 701. So I bought a book, and I will show you right here. This was the guide. This has everything listed in domain, in order from 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all the way to 1.5, then the second domain and all the sections in between that. That was a great book. I scheduled my exam, the next one after the 601, late July, so I believe it was like the 31st, 30th or something like that. I took it going into it very confidently, and unfortunately I fell short of a 722. Now I'm kind of bummed out because I actually expected to pass that exam. I felt very comfortable. During the whole exam, I had like 75 questions, 76 questions. And I was like, damn, this one actually hurt because, sometimes you get confident, you feel good going into it, you're taking the exam, and you feel like that you passed it, and you did not. So that was a bummer. But then to turn me from studying, this is what I want to do, right? So took another week and scheduled it again. This was the first week of August. If I didn't already say, I failed it with the 722, so a few points higher than my 601. I'm like, give me one more week, I got this. Studied up a little bit. I didn't go as crazy as you think I did. I just brushed through my book again, maybe some weak points, and passed it the first week of August with a 769. So I'm blessed to say that. It's great news now. I can focus on some other things that I want to do, trying to tailor myself and get into the position I want to get into. So, number one, this book was the Holy Grail. It's my 701 Bible, pretty much has everything. I highlighted everything, and they have all the domains, objectives, everything is in order. So, and at the end of every chapter, you get your little quiz, but it also gives you like a little mini study guide at the end, kind of just breaks down every little thing on the objective, but in like maybe like a sentence or two. So that really helped a lot too. Kind of just, brush up what you just read, because, they do elaborate a lot, but at the end of the chapter, it's just like one line of information talking to you about whatever it is, the objective. So I thought that was very useful. And he actually does have some free online content when you order the book. They have mock exams and the flashcards. I'm not a flashcard guy. I never really done it. Maybe if I had a physical one, it'd be a little bit easier, but I never used that. The mock exams were pretty decent. I feel like somewhat mimicked the exam, but I didn't really use it that much. I used Professor Messor's exams, and he has like 3 exams, $30, and it's 90 questions a piece with a couple PVQs. A lot of people talk about Messor's exams being very close or harder than the actual exam. I hear that a lot, actually, and I'll tell you from 601 and the 2 701s that I took that I don't think it mimics it at all. I think it's a good study tool to learn stuff, but Messer's exam does not even come close to the exam. Dion's exams do not come close to the exam. Andrew, I forgot his last name, starts with an S. Very good professor to listen to. He was one of my other guys I listened to on his videos. His exams doesn't really mimic it either, to be honest. And CompTIA just has its own wording with things, because I was scoring about 80s, 90s on the exams. Dion's, honestly, his exams are very, you're going to get tired after the 10th question because they're just paragraphs of a bunch of nonsense in a question, and it's like, all right, come on, like, let's just get to the point. Give me the question so I can answer it. But no, his things are paragraphs. So if you want to study from him, go ahead, but it's mentally exhausting. I didn't really care for his exam. So Messor, very good. Andrew, you can look him up on Udemy. He's very good too. I suggest him. There's a guy named Ben Truong. You can probably find him on Instagram and or YouTube actually. Cyber with Ben. He has a really good study guide, and I utilized it from 601 and 701. Kind of carry that around with me while I'm at work and whatever at home, and I just scroll through the objectives as I, have some free time. Just want to look over a few things. His study guide's really good. And it's pretty much free, but he does take tips. So do the right thing, throw him a few bucks, and he also has on his study guide, buy him a cup of coffee if you pass the exam with his study guide, do the right thing. He's very helpful and very knowledgeable guy to listen to. So he was part of my study curriculum. And what else do I want to talk about? What to expect on the exam. So mine was about 76 questions. I had 2 PBQ questions on each of them. 4 was on 601, but we're not talking about 601, so it doesn't matter. But I had 2 on each of them. I can't go into crazy detail, but know your firewalls, know your VPN, stuff like that, and know your, what was the other one? Like data in use, data in transit, stuff like that. And yeah, the CompTIA exam, the wording on a lot of it's different than the other exams that you've taken or the practice ones. Whether people agree or disagree with me, that's on them. This is how I feel, and I've taken a lot of practice exams. I do not think it compares to the CompTIA. So just know your stuff. You don't want to you do want to be able to pinpoint it if you read it, like, okay, I know this is going to be the answer, but you want to actually understand it. If I asked you about something, you want to be able to talk to me about it a little bit in depth. You don't have to know the whole ins and outs, but have a general idea. So if I ask you something and you can't articulate it, maybe just go back. I think studying out loud is very helpful. I got a lot of benefits off doing that. Sometimes it's weird if people are in a household or whatever, but who cares? Study outside, study in your car, read out loud, talk out loud to yourself, and watch. I wouldn't even say watch the videos. It's good to know, but watching all the videos gets a little mundane after a while too. So just pick the ones that you're a little weak on. You're weak on VPNs. You're weak on firewalls. You're weak on the data owner, processor, custodian, steward, and all that. Watch the videos on that. So that's my best advice when it comes to studying. Don't overdo it with the videos. Don't overdo it with studying overall. But take your practice exams. But again, my opinion, I don't think they mimic the exam at all, like people say. And I thought I was crazy at first. I'm like, oh, maybe it was. But then I took the 701 again, failed it. I'm like, that has nothing to do with Messor's exams. I don't even think it's harder. I was scoring 80s and 90s on it, and I failed twice. A lot of people, they study through him, and they're like, oh, yeah, exactly alike. I thought his exam was harder. I guess to each their own, right? But that's my take on it. And I went over how to study. And just a little background, I know I only have 3 followers or subscribers on YouTube right now, so I'm not exactly big yet, but I'm going to be posting a lot of content about cybersecurity, my journey, and uh, job interviews, and me applying, and just my journey trying to slide into the field. you don't know, I've been doing law enforcement for about 10 years. I worked at NYPD for almost 8 years, and I was in patrol. I did enforcement unit where they want us out there doing quality of life, making arrests, dealing with the criminals, and I worked in Brooklyn North Housing Projects. It was very, very busy. And then I went into DV for about 5 years. And if you don't know what DV is, domestic violence. I was in investigations, and it was a great field. I loved it. But oh yeah, after that I lateraled over. I'm now working for another police department, which I will not say until I end up leaving for privacy concerns. But yeah, I'm working for another police department in another state, and I'm enjoying it. I'm doing more patrol stuff like that. Nothing crazy. But anyway, I'm trying to transition from law enforcement to cybersecurity, and they do correlate a lot in many different ways, except I think cybersecurity is more intricate and more complicated, obviously, because it's the digital world. So, especially if you're not like super IT savvy, okay. I mean, I got a lot to learn. Believe me, passing this exam doesn't mean you're qualified to work in cybersecurity. You just pass the exam, you know the basic understanding, but you actually have to put it to practice. And unfortunately, it is what it is. There's no entry level jobs that train you up. There's entry level that will take you with some type of IT experience, but it's going to be very difficult. So I've been already applying. I probably applied to like 40 jobs at this point, 30. Probably more towards the 30 side, and kind of been getting kicked back a lot. So, I mean, I'm just being patient. I got a good paying job right now with a lot of overtime, so I'm not in a rush, but I do want to try to make my transition. I want to go to the red team. I know red team's a little more difficult to get into, especially when you have no experience and they want you to have experience. They want you to know what you're doing. So, taking a few courses on that. We'll see where it goes. But I just gotta put in the time to work and try to learn as much as possible. And I would say the same to you. I don't know what age you guys are starting, but try to build some projects, try to learn, try to do an internship, whatever you got to do. Especially if you got the time to actually get a little hands-on experience somehow. Make it work, or do projects online, and there's YouTube videos about it. But as of right now, I do want to give you my experience with the CompTIA exam. Again, passed with a 769. I'm proud of it. Not a big test taker. Also, just make sure you read your questions. Every part of it, you are an attacker. You are a SOC analyst. You are, looking to audit, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You want to know what your position is, what they're asking you, and look at keywords like application, web, browser, stuff like that, memory, and little keywords like that kind of maybe alters your answer a little bit, depending. It could be SQL attacks or memory injection or buffer overflow, stuff like that, right? And yeah, that's pretty much all I got right now. If you guys don't mind, like, subscribe, especially when you follow me on my journey. I will be putting out a lot more content now that I passed this exam, and I might go over a few things that I study for that I think is going to be helpful. I'll do them in like shorts, but I'll be doing a lot of videos on my experience during applications, what I'm going to be studying, what classes I'm taking to better myself, and just kind of want to be here to be on a journey with you guys, right? I want you guys to follow me and maybe take a thing or two from me, like, okay, well, maybe he's right. Maybe I should try to get a little hands-on experience. Maybe you guys might apply for a few jobs with zero experience and you get it. I hear about that all the time too. So I guess it depends on what job you get, what job that you apply for, and what they're looking for. And maybe you have a great resume outside of this. So all in all, just be patient. If you failed it a couple times or you're about to take the exam, don't get discouraged. I work about 70 hours a week. I have a kid at home, trying to balance family time, working out, work, study. If I could do it, you could do it. Just find the time. Don't get discouraged. I know it adds up to a lot of money. It's like 400 a pop every time you take the exam. And believe me, I wasn't happy either time. The first time around, I was like, okay, cool, good. It was an experience. Second time around, when I really felt like I passed the exam, yeah, I was kind of a little annoyed. But at the end of the day, don't get frustrated. Just keep doing this. If this is what you want to do, then do it. Right? Don't think about the money. Do it because you want to do it. Because taking a couple classes right now, talking about like Linux and everything, and I can see how it could, get boring to some people. Maybe it's cool to other people, but it's pretty complicated. You just got to learn. And I mean, there's a lot more to it than just that. But again, I'm just dabbling. I'm just starting off trying to learn a couple things, and yeah, just get my feet wet, learn as much as possible, and starting off at the basics. So once I get good with that, I'm doing Kali Linux. They have your attack tools and all that other stuff. Then maybe I could start growing and doing some other things, right? But at the end of the day, you got to start somewhere. If this is what you truly want to do, do it. Finding a job might be pretty difficult. I know there's all these positions open, but they really do expect you to have some type of experience, and I'm finding that out. And again, law enforcement does correlate a lot. I do detective work. I worked with a ton of databases. I did investigations. I can write reports better than almost anybody. And documentation, chain of custody, forensics, everything you want to talk about. I'm very good at that, and I'm kind of struggling to find something. I haven't even heard back from anybody yet. So just to kind of let you guys know where, I guess the market is. You want to make sure that you're fully prepared, equipped, and don't think that because you passed a couple exams that you're gonna get this job. And even if you pass the one above Security Plus, the CYST, I think it is, it's words on paper. Good, you got the knowledge, but do you have what it takes to actually, apply to one of these jobs that you need 3, 4, or 5 years experience? Are they going to train you? I don't know. Maybe you might get lucky. So just work on yourself. If there's one piece of advice that I can give, that is something that you should do. I'm also, along with going through a pen testing course and trying to learn as much as possible and better myself at that, and just understanding as much as I could, taking good notes while I'm at work, because I really can't take my laptop or anything. I have a few study guides for pen testing, the CompTIA guide, and I'll probably be scrolling through that a little bit, and will make my way to take that exam eventually soon, maybe August. It's August already. October, November, maybe. We'll see. I have 2 attempts at the exam anyway, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll be studying that up. But my main focus right now is trying to get through this one course, learn as much as possible. I spent really good money on it. They're going to train me up, and maybe this might be my ticket to getting into the field, to breaking into it. Now, I'm not opposed to getting into the blue side of things, but I feel like the ethical hacking is something that I'm a little more excited about. I'll make do with anything. If I get a blue side job, will not complain at all. I'll be more than happy to do it. But red team's ultimately where I want to be at, especially more in the future. So ready to be part of a team. If anybody on a team sees this video, I'm more than happy to work with you guys, even if you guys want me to follow around. But yeah, just working on things and trying to be the best version as I could in this field. So if you guys have any questions, drop it in the comment section. Maybe I'll try. I don't know if YouTube can private message people, but I'll comment it anyway. And comment your thoughts, your concerns. I can maybe throw some advice your way. And again, like, subscribe, follow, and I'll be coming out with more content, and just talking about my journey through breaking into cybersecurity from law enforcement. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope this video was useful for some of you guys. You have a good one.